Hello and welcome to Traffic Light Reviews. I'm Steven Munoz.
And I'm Michael Munoz, and today on this episode of Traffic Light Reviews, we are going to be reviewing Bad Boys for Life. Okay?
So just a little bit about why we're doing this. In this time that we're all going through with 2020 and this year, there's no mistaking what we all know is happening.
Yeah.
And on top of everything that's happening, we realize that a lot more content is being distributed. There's a lot more choices for people with movies and television. And we have watched movies and television our whole lives, so much so that we thought we'd just help you filter through some of it.
Right.
So one of the new releases that have come out this year is Bad Boys for Life. Sort of, what is it, 25 or 20 years from the first one?
So 1995. So we're talking 25 years. 25 years.
And this is the third in the set, and with each passing movie, there's been considerable amount of time between all of them. Trying to do this as spoiler-free as possible for you all, but this movie does focus more on the Will Smith character, as the other movies haven't throughout the saga. We haven't really learned about what makes him the good cop, cool, risky cop. And so this movie takes a deep dive into that, which I appreciated, because I thought, when were we ever going to learn about him?
Right.
But, of course, as time shows us, as they're playing cops at the end of their career, and it's hard. It's hard to still function in the same capacity that you did when you were younger. Yeah. And so the only difference is, though, because it's 2020 and we have movies like Fast and the Furious and all these other big movies where they just make it even bigger in the next one. So you kind of have to keep that up. And I just felt like in that aspect, they kind of fell short a little bit. We're trying to do some crazy things, even though they're in their old age.
Right. Well, I actually I'm okay with the fact that the movie didn't go over the top with some of this action. In the first movie, it was Michael Bay's first, feature film. He had been doing music videos and commercials before then, and they finally gave him, a movie. And he used two comedians to make an action movie. And it was awesome. It was awesome. And if you were a kid, I was 13 when that movie was out. I think you were 8, right? You were 8 years old? Wow, 8 years old. Oh, man. I must have rented this movie so many times from Pathmark. That's right, Pathmark. They used to have like a rental section. But anyway, the second Bad Boys, Bad Boys 2 just got way too over the top. And it was too much for me. Granted, I still enjoy it. Like, you can watch it now. They
destroyed Cuba.
Yeah, they blew up Cuba. But in Bad Boys for Life, the colors are very vibrant. The action is there. It doesn't go Michael Bay crazy, but it does go to a level that's bigger than the first one, because they want to give you something. They don't want to just take it all the way back and make it a straight drama, because Bad Boys is an action comedy. It will always be an action comedy. That's exactly what it is. And in this movie, the characters are older. Marcus's daughter's getting married. He's having he's a grandpop now. Everybody's looking towards retirement. There's a whole new crew of cops that are younger, more sleek, and more tech savvy. And the movie really plays on that. I dug it. I liked it a lot. I definitely don't think it's not going to win any Oscars or anything. But you know what you're watching when you're watching a Bad Boys movie. And I was thoroughly happy that I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to enjoy it.
Well, I think the interesting part about when you do a movie that is when you do a series of movies that have chronicled their age throughout the saga and what has happened to them through their age, and it plays a factor. Like Rambo. Rambo's still Rambo.
Yeah.
Like he's still this same badass dude and still has the talent, even though he's older. Like nothing slowed him down. In the Lethal Weapon series, I feel like from the first movie, they were saying, I'm too old for this. And they just kept that going. That was the motif, but they still did the same thing, more or less.
Right.
And yes, with every movie getting bigger and better, trying to one-up itself from the previous, I feel that sometimes when you take too long in between movies, this is what we see with Bad Boys. Like these other franchises, Rambo, of course, is a long time from the originals. But even still, with this in particular, you could see it almost has different feels entirely. Like they're completely different movies, even though they're connected by the characters.
Okay.
But I didn't feel like a complete story that I went through with these characters because it felt so separate. Because they focused on Will Smith's character more,
Right.
and even when they're focusing on Will Smith's character more, they give you all this backstory in like a 2-minute scene, and we just have to like accept. Oh, okay, that's the only story we're gonna like. I'm big on story. That's one thing. Like when it comes to how much a character is really developed, and then how much time they're trying to give the character on screen, so therefore we can connect with them, because everything you show does have importance, right? Like
Yeah,
how
of
much
course,
time
yeah.
they give something. So in giving that time to something, was it worth it?
Okay.
You know, and I just feel a lot like the story. I thought they wanted to end the series, like watching the movie. I thought like, okay, yeah, this is the last one. They're not gonna make any more, and so they're kind of guiding it that way. They give you this big piece of information about Will Smith's character. Like, okay, this is kind of the reason for who he is, and then we just resolve it in like 20 minutes. Like,
Right.
like it's such a big deal when you really think about it. His character, his backstory, it explains so much. But we don't have that much time to take it in. We don't have much time to really care too much because things still have to happen.
Yeah, it does feel
And
rushed.
then they still don't end the movie. Yeah, when I'm thinking, okay, cool, end it. That's it. It's done. I just felt cheated at that. Like with that.
Okay, well, I mean, I didn't feel cheated. That's not the word I would use. I was upset that we got one of those like endings that end and then all of a sudden, hey, right before the rest of the credits, we're gonna give you a little cliffhanger ending. And I'm just like, oh, come on, I don't need this no more. I'm done with it. I've seen it. It's been overdone in the Marvel universe. I'm sick of it. I just want movies to end. Just end. If you want to make another one, make another one. But end this one. Okay? So we can just go on with our lives instead of now I gotta wait like 5 years for another movie.
Yeah. Okay, Bad Boys for Life takes us to what we believe might be the culmination of this series. Now, throughout the entire thing, with all the references to age and whether or not they could still handle things, it almost feels like a Lethal Weapon ripoff in that regard, but they do it with their own South Florida flair. When it comes down to a story of one man and his past coming back to haunt him, I do believe that this effectively tells that. The only difference is that it's trying to mix up all of these crazy action scenes that we see today with something that could be truly deep and profound if they had fleshed out that story a little bit more between a father and his long lost son. So I'm going to give this a yellow light. I think this is something that you can easily pass on. I mean, Bad Boy fans, I would tell you that it's up to you. I don't think you'd be missing anything if you watch it, but if you never saw this movie ever, I don't think you'd be missing out on much.
So Bad Boys for Life, action comedy starring Will Smith, Martin Lawrence. You already know their names. This movie's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It was a huge surprise for me because I wasn't a huge fan of Bad Boys 2 when it first came out, although I did grow to love it as the years go by because, there's a lot of things that are quotable. There's a lot of funny moments in that movie. But this movie brought back the original score from Mark Mancina from the first movie, which I absolutely love. Toned down some of the action. There's still some really good action pieces in that movie, but really, really focused on the relationship between the two cops, Marcus Burnett and Mike Lowry. And I had a lot of fun watching it. I think you will too. I give it a green light. I think you should check it out, especially if you're a Bad Boys fan. Bad Boys for Life. It's a pretty good time. Hey guys, that's it for this episode of Traffic Light Reviews. We hope you enjoy watching this video as much as we enjoy making it. And hopefully we'll see you next time.
So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, or also give us any comments, any movies you would like to see us review specifically, or whether or not you even agreed with what we had to say. We look forward to seeing you guys in the comments.